All right, you guys, we are back. Guess what? We got my main man Anthony live with us on Facebook Live, Channel 9 TV Network, and now we are talking to Esther Davis, who is live with us right now, and we continue to talk about the impact that the coronavirus is having on the Dallas-Fort Worth and across the world.
Across the world.
Yeah.
Across the world. Let's get serious, folks.
Go ahead.
Serious. These are all teams that we respect. These are teams that we admire. And when they decide to just, we are not going to do this. We're going to take care of the safety of our people. We should be grateful. I think we should be grateful. We might not like it. We might not understand it. But we all breathe the same air. Right now, we're in the middle of a pandemic that we don't have a cure for. That's the most important thing that sticks out in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't want us to panic. I'm a big sports fan. I'm a grandmother. I've got a grandson at Texas A&M and at one of the other universities. But this is something we all have to take a part in and be good citizens to the call.
Now let me ask you this real quick. We got Miss Esther Davis live with us right now. We got a lot of people tuning into us live on Facebook Live. Let's talk about this. You were saying earlier that we're gonna have to change our whole lifestyle now. Let's talk about that.
Yes, we are. We are going to have to change our lifestyles. We're going to have to be more careful about feeding people, reading people. Let's understand. Okay, the first thing we need to really understand, we don't have a cure. We're in the middle of something that has been just today, declared a pandemic globally. We live in a global society, but we don't have a cure. We've had a cure for polio. We've had a cure for Ebola. We've had vaccines for this. We do not have a vaccine.
Wow.
And then that is paramount. Everybody now is hustling and struggling and going through research, trying to find a vaccine. They will find it. I have total confidence. We've always had but now we need to only look at history. We've had.
But the question is, Miss Esther Davis, the question is now, how many people got to die before they find a cure for this?
That's true. It's an unknown. We don't know.
Yeah.
We are not God. And you know what is most amazing about this time is that we have been so accustomed to popping a pill for everything or taking a shot that now we all have to understand that there is no vaccine.
Right. That's right.
So
and that's
doing the best that they possibly can. And you know what? The part that I really struggle with, and I wrote an article about it that's in several papers. We never should. Whoever cut the CDC budget, you don't ever cut a budget where you live in a society where you have infectious diseases.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't want to jump on anybody. I don't want to jump on the government or on any leaders.
But let me ask you this real quick, Miss Esther. Miss Davis, let me ask you this. Because President Trump seems like he's not really worried about it. Well, what do you think about that? He doesn't seem to bother with it.
This is a wealthy man who has never had a cold because he has doctors that take care of everything. This is not a president for the people. This is a billionaire who has been a billionaire all of his life, and my name is Esther Davis. I have no problem with saying this, but we need people that care about public, public safety, the everyday people.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. Now, Anthony, I want you to give us an update because before the other Facebook Live, you had a new update as of tonight. Earlier today, it was 3 cases, but Anthony said now that it's been updated to 6 people who have contracted the virus. Let's talk about that, Anthony.
Yeah, in a matter of fact, and you know, and we say this is a serious matter, but you have to be careful of who you come in contact with because this COVID-19 is jumping on people. I mean, the transfer. I think it's we haven't seen this in a long time, or if we ever seen it. I ain't never seen it in my lifetime. How fast that quickly is spreading just by a quick contact. So, you know, so and like you said, this is a scary point that there is no vaccine. how long it's going to take to actually, get that vaccine approved.
Exactly.
It might not be until next year that we actually see a vaccine for it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So,
And the other thing we have to think about, Anthony, thank you for saying that, is that we all have different hygiene cares. You have some people that never wash their hands. Never wash their hands. I mean, that's a fact. That is not, I'm not making fun of anybody.
Now, you're right.
But,
you're right.
and you don't know what hygiene care the other person has.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're asked to wash your hands 10 times a day or wash your hands for 20 seconds, there's nothing with doing that.
But you know what? You know what? You make a great point, Miss Davis, because I clean bus stops. So I constantly washing my hand. Every time as soon as I get through, I'm constantly washing my hand. And now that I'm doing this, I'm washing my hands even more now.
Exactly. But you have people that don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You have, and I've seen over the years, I've watched young mothers, and I'm not jumping on everybody. What we're talking about is public safety, and it's a part that we all play in public safety. I've seen young mothers dispose of diapers in public places.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's
no, you make a good point. You make a good point.
That's shit. That's good because when we talk about public safety, there's some actually things that we can name. Like number one, when you don't pump your gas, that's a lot of germs right there when you put the gas pump. So driving the people already can touch the gas,
Right. And now's a good time for all of us just to clean up after ourselves.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Trash out. I'm serious. Take the trash out. Don't let the trash stack up 3 or 4 days before you take it out.
You're
clean
right.
your bathroom. Clean your kitchen sink.
So let me ask you this, Miss Davis. Let me ask you this. Do they even know where this virus is coming from?
They don't know. It was like Ebola a couple of years ago. We've always had infectious diseases.
Mm-hmm.
We have been blessed in this country. We have been blessed in this country to have people with foresight, and we've had the CDC. But when you start cutting budgets, the researchers can't do their job. The scientists can't do their job. A couple of years ago, we are a sickle cell family. There at one time was no vaccine, no care for sickle cell until they put money into the research.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So now you don't ever hear about a sickle cell family or a child dying of sickle cell.
Right.
Polio. I am old enough to remember polio when people were dying of polio.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's a good point. Just to give a little history of how far we have come in medicine.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Back in the day, if you have a cold or a cough, you dead.
You're right, Anthony.
Yeah.
You're so right about that, man. That's amazing. For those who just now tuned in to us on Channel 9 TV Network, we're being broadcast on Channel 9 TV, and we also being broadcast right here on Facebook Live, and we're talking about the coronavirus. So many people have passed away from it. 38 people so far. Now that number could change between now and later, but it's right now. It is now 38 people who have passed away from this virus, and Anthony said 6 people have tested positive in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Exactly.
And the World Health Organization has declared this a state of emergency worldwide.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
And people that say it's not affecting me, it's not for my community, that is such a narrow way of looking at it, because every day we have people coming into our world, our community. We have planes that move people from point A to point B. So whatever affects you in South Dallas on let's say on Oakland, on Malcolm X, is the same thing that affects people in Italy. We are a global society.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. So, Anthony, you got some more reports that some of the entertainment just tested positive. Who we talking about?
Yeah, Tom Hanks and his wife. test positive for coronavirus, and right now he's in Australia, getting treatment. And then there was an NBA player, so that's why they decided to shut down the game.
Yeah, one of the Utah players.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is real. This is real.
Yeah, it's real, and that's an awakening, but it's nothing that cannot be conquered with with everybody participating. It's the same thing would happen, and God forbid if I say the same thing would happen if we had a hurricane in Dallas tonight. I mean, we've had big hurricanes. We have had 9/11. We've had other things, but your attitude has to be positive.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Your attitude has got to be positive.
And you know what? You make a good point when you say that. And it's really important because, see, I work in, by me working in the public transportation, I see, I'm around people throughout the day, all day. I'm volunteering, I'm working with people throughout the day. So, yes, I definitely want to encourage everybody to please, whatever you do, wash your hands thoroughly. Wash your hands with sanitizer. I can't emphasize this enough. I can't push this enough. How important it is for you to continue to wash your hands and continue. I mean, I don't care. Every time you touch something, wash your hands because it's important. It's very important.
Yeah.
What do y'all want to add to that?
I mean, everything becomes, and a lot of things they're not talking about because we cannot take for granted that someone is doing a certain thing. Brush your teeth every day. Brush your teeth because when you sneeze, now we have been advised by the authorities that sneezing now goes a long, long way. That sneezing should be done into a handkerchief.
Yeah, you're
but
right.
If you brushed your teeth and used a mouthwash and kept your mouth clean and your hands, and just watch who you are around.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're touching a doorknob every day.
Yeah, you're right. You make a good point when you say that.
Wash your hands.
Right.
Why they say wash your hands? Because they say coronavirus lives on the head for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It can live on your head for 10 minutes. So that's why it's important to always keep washing your hands.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely agree with you on that. And it's not only that, but the CDC say also be careful. Like she was saying earlier, be careful who you hang out with because you don't know if that person came from out of town I don't know about y'all. I don't even think I want to go to a restaurant right now.
I think that's a good idea because you have to have some common sense. Along with being positive, you're going to have to use some common sense.
And also,
with restaurants, there's nothing wrong with your cooking at home. You got a stove at home. You have a refrigerator at home. Buy fresh vegetables and cook at home.
Also, did you hear about the Chinese restaurant? They have lost a lot of business since this coronavirus started. What do y'all think about that?
Well,
I think.
No, go
ahead, Anthony. I mean, you got this. I like the way you think.
Well, you know, what first reported, it was at Wuhan, right? So, of course, you know, so a lot of people are quick to stereotype. And so this is supposedly the origin of where this comes from. And so Chinese has a lot of restaurants, a lot of chicken places, a lot of nail shops. And so, of course, you know, we get paranoid. And you know, I understand people are doing it out of fear. But, you know, also we have to do what's best that you think is best for you.
Wow.
I'm going to ask the public to use a lot of common sense.
Yes.
It is going to change our lifestyle. I think we should start preparing people. Let's say if it's a pandemic and they have to close all of the schools in March. NBA, I think, is just one part of what is being closed, and they're being responsible. They're being responsible people. But let's say they change schools when it comes down to you and I and everyday people that go to work every day. That's going to change part of your lifestyle.
Yes.
But you still cannot panic. There is a public safety and measurement that everybody is going to have to take.
Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
You're right. Wow.
Exactly. You know, I'm in quality, and what you just said, we call that preventive action.
Exactly.
Preventive action. Yeah.
So there will be deaths. There will, because there is no vaccine. But let's take care of each other. I mean, I think it boils down to taking care of each other.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
Also the Six Festival, the Worldwide Six Festival, they canceled their concert in Austin. It was scheduled to start in the next week. The NCAA, they also canceled what they call March Madness. They canceled.
Yeah, that's what you talking about earlier.
Yeah.
The March Madness. Yeah.
So
March
this
Madness
is
and the parade in the parade in Dallas has been canceled. I love that parade.
and the one in Fort Worth.
Parade has been canceled.
The one in Fort Worth
No.
canceled too. The one in Fort Worth.
Oh, the one in Dallas. No, we have a big one on Greenville Avenue here. In
And
Dallas.
also, the city council meeting was canceled tonight. I mean, yesterday.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's responsible leadership.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
It has
Yeah.
nothing to do with anything but other than the public and taking care of the public.
Yes, I definitely agree with you on that.
Yes.
You said anything else y'all want to say before we leave?
Well, I mean, let's not leave by prayer.
Oh yeah. Now speaking of that,
let's not leave by prayer. I don't know. You cannot run this world without prayer. I don't care what people say.
speaking of that, Miss Davis, let me ask you something.
Common sense, take care of each other, and let's pray for each other.
Hey, Miss Davis,
Because-
I'm glad you brought that up because I want people to realize, because I'm a Christian, Anthony's a Christian, but and we know you're a Christian, but we also want people to realize you got to do more than pray. You got to because the Bible speaks
You gotta
about
go to work.
yeah
You gotta go to work. You're right.
yeah, the
Absolutely
Bible
right.
speaks about watch and pray. So
Right.
we want people to know prayer is one thing, but we also have to exercise common sense when it comes down to this stuff. Everything we talking about is common sense that you need to do. Common sense tell you to wash your hands. Common sense tell you not to go to certain places. Common sense tell, and right now I'm not trying to be funny. I wouldn't even touch nobody's hand.
No.
Well, no, that's a good thing again because you don't know what the hygiene habits of that person are.
You don't. You don't.
We don't have.
They may not be the same as yours. I mean, you have people that will wear the same clothes 2 or 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
You have people that have different habits, personal hygiene habits. They don't bathe as often as you do. They don't brush their teeth.
Yeah.
There are differences in our culture, and so to play it safe, just wash your head.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you on that. You made a good point. I'm glad you brought that up tonight so people can know what's going on because I think it's important.
Well, you're the person that we look to, and it's important to know that certain people influence other people. So your show is a powerful influence in our culture.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
people are going to listen to what, absolutely right. People are going to listen to what you say. I mean, we have a president that people don't trust, and I will say that
Yeah.
as often as I mean, there are people we don't trust,
Mm-hmm.
and there are people that we do trust.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Before we leave, who won the primary this past Tuesday?
Well, Royce West is in a runoff, and we need to be very cognizant of that. We have a couple of judges that are in runoffs. I was talking to Stacey Williams today at a luncheon and to some other people. So we still haven't finished the voting. The runoff election is going to be in May, and we also know that Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are still on the same ticket. That is a problem as far as I'm concerned. We need to go ahead. The problem is not two Democratic candidates. The problem is getting the president out of office, out of the White House. So let's keep our focus on the prize. We are not talking about Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. We're talking about a person that can get the current administration and send them home.
Amen. You're right. You're right about that. So who do you think qualifies for that?
I think Joe Biden. I voted for Joe Biden. I love both of the candidates. I think they've done extraordinarily well. But let's face some facts. The most beloved president in the world today, and we have 5 living presidents, 4 or 5 living presidents, is Barack Obama. The most admired couple in the world today is Mr. and Mrs. Barack Obama.
Yes.
So if we get Joe Biden, we get the Obama morals, we get the Obama attitude, we heal the country, we get a leader that the rest of the world admires.
You're right. You're right. You make a good point.
I think that Joe Biden is the candidate. I love Bernie Sanders. Young people are wonderful. Young people are the future, but young people don't pay any taxes, and young people are not ready for the leadership that this country needs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you on that.
Young people have to grow up.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think the growing up for my age group was 25. The growing up today is 30 or 35.
Yeah,
which
you're
really
right.
makes a difference.
Yeah, it do. It really do. Well, I tell you
I
what.
don't know if you agree with me or not. I mean, that's an opinion.
No, you're right. You're right. I agree.
We all have an
But I
opinion.
tell you what,
But-
thank you so much, both of you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Channel 9 TV Network and live on Facebook. And again, we definitely going to be hearing from you guys again on this program.
You're the best. You're the best, Janelle. Everybody's looking at you and watching you.
All right, then.
Thank you, Anthony. I got to get back with you again. I like you.
Oh, yeah, me too. Everybody do. He's good. All right, you guys. And we want to thank y'all for tuning into us live on
Thanks,
Facebook.
Janelle.
And also, thank you
Good night,
guys
all.
for tuning into us on Channel 9 TV Network. Especially the riders and the bus drivers.
So one of the things that we've done is we find our awareness, and we've established a collaboration with the emergency management coordinator. We're attending weekend meetings. We've also contacted the Tarrant County Public Health Department. They're following pretty much the CDC recommendations for safeguards. We've developed messaging to our personnel so that we can go ahead and have a concerted message that referencing best practices and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
We're also adding some processes to make sure that we are cleaning our vehicles a little bit more frequently, especially the high-touch areas and so forth. We're making sure that we've got enough quantities of our cleansers, both to sanitize and disinfect vehicles, and also station common areas, so that we can go ahead and safeguard our public and employees as much as possible. But we're very much dependent on the recommendations provided by both CDC and the Public Health Department relative to establishing practices to avoid contamination.
Okay. What advice would you give to the riders to make sure that they can keep themselves safe?
Well, very similarly to the recommendations that we provide to employees is stay away from people that are sick.
Mm-hmm.
If the individual is sick, they should contact and preferably call a medical practitioner so that way they can get assessed. One of the things that we're recommending is avoid contact with people that you may go ahead and expose or contaminate,
Mm-hmm.
and or if you're not sick, be exposed to potential contamination.
Okay.
Additional practices, for example, wash hands regularly, vigorously, typically 20 seconds is recommended. If you don't have access to hand washing or washroom, then go ahead and use hand sanitizer, which is one of the things that we've distributed to our operators.
Mm-hmm.
Since they don't have access to a washroom readily, we've done similarly for our train crews with Texrail.
Okay.
And then also, if they do cough or sneeze, preferable to use a tissue and throw it away right away. And if they don't have one, then cough or sneeze into the crook or the inside end of your arm. That way you avoid the contamination to the hands, and then avoid touching your face as much as is possible.
Okay. That's some really good advice. For those who just not tuning into us right here, we talking to you. Are the chief that's over the Trinity Metro, right?
I am the chief in charge of safety for both bus and rail operations. So that
Okay.
includes our fixed route, our paratransit, Texrail, and then also the Tarrant County portion of Trinity Railway Express.
Okay.
The safety protocols.
Well, I tell you what, thank you so much. Those are really good advice, and that the community need to really take heed to what's going on out here. Do you think it's going to get worse, or do you think it's going to get better?
I'm sorry, will you repeat?
Do you think it's going to get worse, or do you think it's going to get better?
You know what? I have no way to make a determination thereof. I would rely on the Public Health Department for an answer to that, whether it's Tarrant County or Dallas County.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Thank you. Anything else you want to add that we haven't talked about?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
I say anything else you would like to add that we haven't talked about?
Oh, the only thing I can tell you is that we're still apprised of whatever's going on, and we're making any adjustments accordingly. We're looking at a continuity of operations plan, and we're looking after the safeguards of our employees and the public we serve.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much for taking out your busy schedule and talking to us.
You're quite welcome.
All right.